Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Derk Harron.
Back with another comic book review for you guys for this week. This time we're going to be covering one called Paper Girls, in case you can't see. This is a book written by Brian K. Vaughn, and who is the artwork by, Derk?
Cliff Chang?
Okay, Cliff Chang, cool, got it. I should have had the book in my hands, but yes, and Cliff Chang is the artist, Matt Wilson does the colors, and Jared K. Fletcher is the letterer. So, let's talk about this book. Derk, do you want to go ahead? So here's the thing. I've read the first volume, which is the first 6 issues of the book.
Yep.
You have read how much?
I've read almost all of it. I think I've missed like maybe 2 or 3.
Which is up to about
issues.
where right now?
I think we're like at about like 23, 24.
Okay. So Derk has a much better frame of reference for this series than I do, because sometimes with Brian K. Vaughan, it's a bit of a slow burn. He doesn't tell you everything right up front like some comic book authors feel they have to. And this book, the first volume, kept changing to me. It kept changing the whole way through. Like, I couldn't get quite a handle on exactly what the story is, even up until the very end of the 6th issue. Then I'm like, wait, now we're doing this? Like, it was a little bit bothersome, only in so much as I felt like a cat going after a string that kept getting pulled out just at the last second. Like, I just can't get a handle quite on what it is, you know. So, but it is entertaining, although I do have my problems with it. So that is my overall opinion. What is yours, Derk?
Well, I think this is one of those books where I think that you need to read it on a monthly basis.
Really?
I could see how that could be rough, like reading the first volume, because what's so crazy about this comic book is that each issue there's just like this crazy cliffhanger always, and I think that's what kind of sucked me in when I first started reading it.
Did you start reading it on the monthlies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I picked it up just on a whim. Like, I was just like, wow, this is the first issue. I like Cliff Chang. He did the artwork for Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah,
for New
you're
52.
Right. You're right.
And so I was just like, hey, let's give it a try. And then that's when I got hooked, because it was just like every issue there's just some like crazy change, like you were saying. But and it takes you a little while to process it. That's why I felt like I was always looking forward to it monthly.
Okay.
And you know, this is a story about time travel, so that's why it's all over the place. And like you haven't even gone down the rabbit hole yet, to the point where
I feel like I was starting to fall. I don't know.
I think you've just like, you're looking in, but like you haven't fallen in yet, because it gets crazy.
Yeah, because I'm that's how I feel right now. Like, I'm looking in and I'm like, what the hell is going on in there? And I just don't quite get it, but I'm intrigued. You know, I'm tempted to fall down, but I don't know. Does it like start to make sense? Do you? And all, like, a different question is, so does it start to make sense, and then do you really think it will suffer in trade format? Because that's how I'm going to have to read it.
I think that it starts kind of coming together.
Okay.
Later on, once you start to realize that this is a time travel book, that you know, we're going to be following these characters older as well, and how the younger versions of themselves like run into the older versions of themselves. And just how they're like being tracked by like this time police in a sense, and they don't know that they're really messing up time. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what's happening, and then I don't want to spoil too much for
Okay,
you.
yeah, don't.
But I just think it's a wild story. I love all the 80s references that are in this first volume, and then it's just like, since we're talking about all these other decades that they're kind of coming across, that we get to see that as well. And so there's all these like references to the 90s and even into the 2000s and present. And then what you know, the writer believes is going to what the future is going to look like in his mind.
Okay.
So, and I love how it seems like Apple has kind of taken over.
Yeah.
Like, they make everything in the future.
Yeah, that's what it does seem like it's headed towards. So, like I said, it's intriguing. I mean, so go ahead, just tell the story as best you can without. I'll start it off, right? Because I just read the first volume, so it's pretty clean in my head.
It's been about 2 years since
Yeah,
I've
so
read
you might
those.
say and then there's this, and I'm like, no, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
No, so okay, so here's what happens. You start off following this what ends up kind of being, because I can't quite tell all the girls apart yet, except for the main girl, or not even the main character, but the main paper girl, Mac. Right? Because she's got the short hair, the tomboy with the smoking the cigarette all the time. So I'm having a little trouble separating the rest, but I've only read it through the one time so far. So I'm sure if I reread it, I would get a better handle on it. But anyway, you follow the new girl, who is, I believe, this one right here, right?
Yes.
So she basically, the book starts off with her, getting her papers together and shoving them into a roll and going out on her paper route. And this is in 1988, I think they say. And so when she goes out, she runs into this group of paper girls who is led by one named Mackenzie, who is the first paper girl of the neighborhood. So she's kind of looked up to, and the new girl already knows about her and stuff like that. And they kind of invite her to ride along with them. And on this first ride, things immediately start going haywire, and the book just never goes back from there.
It was also Halloween night, whether.
Well, it was November 1st morning. Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah.
So it was just after Halloween night, right? Yeah. But anyway, so they run across these weird completely covered up, clad dudes that are trying to sneak around and steal stuff, including one of their bikes. Which is, or one of their something, and they go after them, and they confront them, and they see that they're these cyborg guys, or they've got these weird maladies and things like that they, and they're speaking this weird language, and it spirals and spirals from there, where these guys actually are time travelers, like you said. They're time traveling kids that have had bad stuff happen to them, but they're from the future, and it just spins out of control from there. I mean, can you take it a little bit farther than that?
They're on the run. I think that what they're also doing is going back into the past to collect things.
Yeah, because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And they come across these girls, and what ends up happening is that they realize that they have some kind of power, that they one of the girls ends up getting hurt, and so they feel that since they're from the future, that maybe they can help out at some point in the story, but yeah, it gets to the point where it seems like the end of the world. This giant portal opens up, and then all these dinosaur pterodactyls things start coming down, and
some being ridden by these dudes clad in armor with weird energy scepters and stuff like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was
and then also did you get to the point where it seems like people are disappearing?
Yeah.
Okay. So because
they find they find one of their moms, I think, at one point when they go a little bit into the future, and she's like, it's the end of the world anyway, and then they look away, she turns, and then she's gone. Right. Yeah, so that started happening. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So people are disappearing.
That's when I thought, because again, I'm trying to get a handle on this story while I'm going. I'm like, wait, is this a rapture book? Did the rapture happen? And now there's only a few people left, and then no, I can't get a handle on it. But go ahead.
Because I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to give too much away, but I think, isn't it pretty much how it ends? Is that they end up healing up the girl? They
heal up the girl.
They took off because they ended up going on their spaceship, because they had the nano insects that were helping her. And then then the girls are all alone. But
they go and they find their friend inside the machine they encountered earlier.
Okay.
And then when they go out to try and go from there, a car comes towards them and it stops, and one of the girls, an older version of her, steps out, and she's like, "Wait, I'm that person," or whatever. And I was like, "Okay, what?" Like, so I'm confused as hell, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that's what I don't know, man. When I first picked up this comic, just because each episode has such a crazy cliffhanger, that's what hooked me in, and I say keep going with it, because it'll start to make more sense later on, but for now, man, just try to hold on, because it is a very strange story.
I have some other books. I have like the first 2 Ultimate editions of Revival, which I want to try, so I'm going to give that a try, but I might get back to this sooner than later. But let's talk about the artwork, Dirk.
Okay.
So let's give them a few pages. You go ahead and talk about it. Like, I don't know exactly how to describe it, so I'll just show some of it.
I think it's a very cartoony style, but I think that it really kind of captures that era, that in time, the 80s. Like, look at, we got the Freddy Krueger there, and I think that what I loved about it was like all of like the dinosaurs. When things would just pop up, you're just like, sure, I want dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Or like when a time machine pops up, it's like, sure, I'll take that. Or when you have the futuristic kids that are all mutated and like speaking a different language, I was like, okay, let's have that happen. But it's just like they just keep throwing you curveballs, and it's always out of left field, like where you just like, you have no idea where this story's going, and that's why I was so intrigued with this book.
Yeah, I dug the artwork. I gotta say, I read a lot of independent comic books, and this is definitely one of the better artists that's producing out there right now.
I love the colors, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's what it does the artwork even more justice by like just
shout out to Matt Wilson, because the colors are amazing. They're pastelish a lot of the time, and it lends a certain feel to every panel, really.
And it uses a lot of pinks and purples. It gives you a sense that this is like like a female comic, like that. The colors drive the characters in a sense, but then there's just some really good, like, especially with this creature thing and how like that neon green, it just pops. And I love that scene where
I actually really loved this. There's a point at which one of the girls has sort of a flashback of her life, and it really rang true to me, and unfortunately like it really hit home. I was like, damn.
And
that's rough.
And there's just there's those moments where just all the subtle references to like 80s nostalgia, and then once again, like you keep seeing the Microsoft logo, the Apple, like everywhere, and then it's even more in the later issues too, prominent. So
trying to find a good example of it for them, because
I think it's like at the end of the first issue where
that's right, where she finds it,
where it first pops up, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, because it's set entirely in the 80s, and then at the very end of the first issue, all of a sudden they find this little device.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think it's an Apple.
Like, because they did have like Apple computers back then, but like something so small.
Yeah.
And that to us, that's you know, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, they even make that deduction themselves. They're like, you know, well, computers used to be huge. You know, they used to fill a room, and now they're on our desks. And they're like, who knows what could happen? It's like, yeah,
right.
that's true. So the characters are smart too. So that makes for a more fun read than, you know, not. So, ultimately, I'm gonna probably go back to it, but I will say that it's worth reading. Give the first volume a try. If you are into it enough, then you'll want to keep reading. If it doesn't do it for you, then obviously you don't need to. You'll be able to find someone else that would give it a try very easily. But it's at least worth giving a try because of the writer alone. But the art is amazing. The colors are amazing. Everything is really well put together in the comic. It just didn't resonate with me quite as much as it did with you.
And I think that the dialogue as well. I think that the back and forth between the girls, it feels grounded. It you know, it feels like what, you know, kids would be saying in a crazy situation that they're in, you know, and how they would react to it. So.
It does feel natural, the dialogue, for sure. So you got to give it that. So yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for our review of the first volume of Paper Girls. Go ahead and check it out. It is worth your time at the very least. Again, even though it didn't hit home with me, I am going to keep it on my shelf and pull it out again later on and see if it resonates again. Maybe I was rushing to get it done for this review. I don't know, but I am still interested, just not interested enough to go rush out and get everything right this second. So yeah, anyway, if you have read it, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts were, or if you're interested now, let us know that too. Let's get a conversation going, guys. We like talking about comics, and we don't get nearly that many comments on these videos, so let's talk about these books that we love so much. So thanks again for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Dirk Harron.
And remember,
stay scared.